Hey, Kentucky fans, welcome to this week's episode of Three Thoughts on Kentucky Athletics. This is Shane with the Moonshine Mafia. Three thoughts, ironically. That's how many points Auburn scored Saturday night. But let's dig into the three thoughts for the week. The first one, we're going to go back and talk about that Auburn football game. Styles make fights. Cole Kubelik said it during the broadcast, and I thought it was just this really ridiculously great point. Like, Kentucky-Tennessee, that's a mismatch. Kentucky's going to lose that game probably 80% of the time because Tennessee spreads the field. They don't want to play between the hashes. You know, the stereotypical thing is football in a phone booth. Well, Auburn wants to try to win football in a phone booth. And it's hard to beat Mark Stoops in a rock fight down in the mud pit. That's his style of football. Especially Auburn coming into it with a beat-up offensive line. And if you go back and watch the replay, that is the biggest part of what happened. Kentucky's offensive line gave up 0 sacks. Auburn's offensive line struggled with Kentucky's really good front four. It's an underrated part of that football team. Probably the strength of the defense, if we're being completely honest. It wasn't flashy. It was just a toughness win. There were a couple of mistakes, a couple of things that happened, but Kentucky still made plays to make up for it. Like the interception that the freshman receiver, number 22, came back and knocked out, and Kentucky regained possession of it. So my question for you guys, and we're going to talk, that is my big thought of the week from this game. Was that just a really good matchup advantage or a sign of things to come? Was it an aberration or a product of it just being the right kind of football game? I mean, but the identity was there. Physical, it was disciplined. There weren't a lot of penalties. And just old school SEC football. If this is a style win, great. I'm not going to complain ever when we win a football game. But if it was growth, that changes everything going forward. Which leads us to point 2. How big the Florida game is right now. It is this season's hinge point. And a lot of thought can go into whether Auburn was a turning point or just a pause on the way down. Kentucky has a real chance to swing momentum, get 2 SEC wins in a row, which hasn't happened in forever and a day. And Florida's coming off, it's a rivalry game, but they're coming off a very, very hard-fought loss against Georgia that came down to last-minute shenanigans. Their inconsistency definitely gives opportunity, but this group of Wildcats need to prove that they can stack wins. And I'm not going to... Kentucky plays very, very hard. They fight, they claw, they scratch. Sometimes the matchup just isn't there. And honestly, this is a spot where a win over Florida gets you a little momentum. Then Tennessee Tech game, there's a chance to get 3 in a row. Then who knows what happens with Vanderbilt. I don't want to sit here and say it's a loss automatically, but that one doesn't look good on paper. Even though they're struggling a little bit once they get into the teeth of their schedule. Like, is this a spot where we look back in a few years and go, oh, everything turned around there, and it was the beginning of the resurgence of the Stoops regime in Lexington? Or do we look back at it and go, yeah, that's where it was decided to be done? That's how big this weekend is. And now, tomorrow the basketball season starts. Let's jump over there. We play Nicholls State. With our third thought, let's a little bit of warning for the BBN. I know we're not known for being very patient at times, and I know we're looking at this roster and we're seeing how much talent is on this roster. A lot of people were talking before the Georgetown eye-opener how deep this team is and how it doesn't matter that a couple of guys are out. And that's really what the third point is. Patience. Let this thing cook. This This team this year, yes, has a ton of talent, but it's not one that's going to finish in the microwave. This one's got to get in the smoker, and it's going to be out there, and you're going to have to check on it every once in a while, because we're still not sure if Jalen Lowe is going to be able to go tomorrow night. I think Denzel Aberdeen will be. That's my guess. But there's new faces that we're going to have to come together and build some chemistry. Then we're not exactly sure when Lowe's going to be back. We're not exactly sure when Quaintance is going to be back. And chemistry takes time. So when Lowe comes back healthy, there's going to be a set rotation and how the players, the roles that the players fit into. And Lowe's going to come in and he's going to disrupt that. And it's going to take a few games to figure that all back out as people get healthy and they learn to play together. Then Quaintance will come back and guys that were getting minutes in certain spots, and all of that's going to change and float around. And it's going to shuffle, and there may be a couple of losses that shouldn't happen because of talent, but happen because of chemistry. And that's really what I want the point I want to get out there with you guys. Patience. Honestly, these early games are going to be able to identify the effort guys, get the rotations worked in a little bit so that whenever we're finally healthy, decide leadership. The final score is important because these games count and they matter toward the tournament. But some of those margins of victory are going to be a little closer than we would think that they should be because of these issues that I'm talking about. I'm not saying we're going to stink or do terrible, but I'm just cautioning a little bit of patience if they don't look like the dominant force that we think that they can be. And just Nicholls State, real quick, the team that's going to be here Tuesday, they're not a terrible team, but they're not a great team. They're veteran laden. They're coming off back-to-back 20-win seasons. They finished third in their conference. So it'll be a win, but it might not be as comfortable as we would like because we got some stuff to work on still, and some guys that are going to be coming back and in and out, and just patience. I know Kentucky fans, it's really hard, but that's the key to this season, I believe. Guys, those are 3 thoughts on Kentucky athletics for 11/3/2025. I'm Shane with the Moonshine Mafia. If you like this breakdown, hit subscribe, share your thoughts below, and I'll see you for the Florida preview. God bless you, and go Big Blue.